Serge.
Hey Zach, how's it going?
Dude, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you been?
Oh, doing well. Just having a Friday night cocktail and living the dream. How about you?
Fuck yeah, same fucking thing, man. Same fucking thing, dude.
Hell yeah.
So tell us, man, what's been going on in the world of Self-God, dude?
So we just released our second album on October 31st via Vellus Records. So yeah, we just dropped that onto the world.
Hell yeah, man. So tell us about this record, man. Like how did this whole thing come together?
So it's a typical, I guess, record process as the last one. I wrote all the material, then I got a hold of Scotty from ex Morbid Angel now. He's done the previous album with me and a couple albums with another band, so I was like, hey, I got material, you interested? And he was all about it, and here we are.
Dude, what the fuck, man? Fucking Morbid Angel on the fucking drums, man.
Yeah, he's a drum machine. I don't know how that dude does it.
It's like a fucking machine gun, man.
Yeah, he's just like some smaller vegan guy, but he plays like four men combined,
Well, the cool thing about these songs is like, even though it's got the fucking rapid fire fucking intensity in there and everything, there's also groove mixed in there. Like there's some songs in
oh yeah, really. I'm always trying to write a riff that gets stuck in your head, that typical Pantera groove. Dimebag was a big inspiration for me, so just shit that sticks with you, shit that makes you move.
Yeah. My wife Raven always refers to stuff like that. She says it slaps, and I was telling her about it. I was like, this is something you need to listen to this because it slaps. I was like, this is what you're talking about. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Kind of like I don't know, like Behemoth and fucking some other stuff, man. But there's a lot of different things in here, but it's got your own sound to it too, though.
Right, yeah. I mean, Behemoth is definitely a big influence, and Morbid Angel and Belphegor, haters, bands like that, but they kind of guided me towards this path, but then I kind of figured it out on my own as well, my own little twist.
Hell yeah, man.
On the black death metal,
Well, for people out there that don't know, man, you just fucking went through like a hellacious fucking thing, man. Your apartment fucking blew up and fucking burned down. What the hell happened, man? Can you tell
us? Dude. So this is literally the day after Ace Frehley from Kiss died. I was all bummed out, fell asleep on my couch in my living room and woke up to everything on fire and got out there right in time. I got lucky. It could have been bad. It was at 5:30 in the morning. Everyone was asleep, and yeah, just electrical issues. Old building, could have happened to anybody. And I'm glad to be here and talk to you right now.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you made it out, dude. What the fuck, man? You were asleep in the apartment when it happened.
Yeah, I just fell asleep on my couch in the living room, the typical shit that I always do, and woke up to it just blazing. Pretty crazy.
Fuck, man. Yeah, that sucks, dude. Fucking. I know you had a GoFundMe thing,
right?
I think that your better half set up for you, and
did.
She was pushing that out there. Did that help?
Yeah. I mean, I just want to thank everybody that has donated and shared and or seen me in person and helped. It's been tremendous help. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of help I got. You know, all the metal community got together, and it was just a beautiful thing. You know, it's nice to see that. You know, me touring for all these years and meeting all these amazing people. You know, it paid off because, you know, they all helped me out. I'm like, holy shit. You know, it's crazy. Almost as crazy as the fire itself was the help that I got.
Well, man,
I'm forever grateful.
Dude, that's what we gotta do, man. We gotta help each other out in situations like that, man, because that's just...
No doubt. And I have as well. One of my friends' apartment burned down years ago, and we actually did a tribute metal show and raised money, so it's kind of like, I guess, karma coming back in a way, which is cool. You know?
Yeah. A couple years ago, the house next door to us fucking went up in flames and almost caught our house on fire too, which was really fucking scary. Like, I remember waking up in the middle of the night, smoke was filled in the house, and we thought our house was on fire. You know, when I walked outside and saw the flames, I didn't know, but then but everything was okay. But like, still, it's like, you know, that just it's definitely it's fucking, it's traumatic, man. Like, you know, like you don't just get over something like that easily. But I mean, for you, it's way worse. Like, your fucking your life. I don't know, like, I mean, all your fucking belongings and shit, like...
Yep.
For the gearheads out there, man, the you know, like, did you lose a lot of like special gear and stuff in that fire?
There was a couple things I lost, but most of the guitars survived in a way. Like, they got water and smoke damage. So some of the firefighters actually tried to save my guitars, which was cool. They put them like aside and shit. So some of them survived. I just got to replace some of the wiring and get rid of the smell. Some things I had to pitch, like my guitar cabinet and some things like that. That went to shit, but luckily a lot of my main gear was at my practice spot.
Hell yeah.
Where my band practices, so thank God that wasn't there, you know. That helped, but all the guitars were there, unfortunately. Oh, almost all of them. One guitar had the practice spot, but regardless, like, I'm endorsed by Fishman Fluence. Shout out to Fishman. They sent me the whole new wiring kit to rewire the guitar and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
So that helps, you know.
That's badass, man. And you're with Dean Guitars now too, right? Yep. Yeah, shout out to Dean Guitars. Yeah, I've been playing them since I was a teenager. Hell yeah, dude. Love fucking Dean Guitars, man. That's my favorite axe that I got, dude. Good. Yeah, man. I got that dime fucking the V, fucking Razorback V. I got that too. Which color is your V? It's the white with the fucking black pinstripes. Oh, nice. I got the black and green one. Hell yeah. Yeah. I call it the typo negative colors one. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Peter. Fuck yeah, rest in peace. Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, dude, that's a killer fucking axe, man. I love that fucking thing, dude. Like, I got a bunch of guitars, but that's the one that I play more than anything else, man. It sounds good, it feels good, and there's something about that V-neck, man. The way that fucking it's really weird. It's totally different from any other guitar, man. Like, yeah, like I don't think a lot of people realize, you know, like how much different that really is, but it is. It's like, it feels fucking awkward at first, but after you get used to it, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's, you know, it's Dime. You know, Dime was all about the unordinary stuff, you know, and that's his total design. Yeah, you won't find another guitar with that same neck profile.
But yeah, I love it. I've had it since I was 16 years old, and it's probably one of the oldest guitars I own. And I will never sell it, and a lot of people want to buy it. They're discontinued.
Yeah, those go for crazy now online, man. I was super lucky to find one on Reverb from some dude in California, man. You just happened to have one. It had a couple of dings in it, but I was like, I don't give a fuck, dude. If it plays good, I'm fucking getting that motherfucker, because I remember seeing it at a guitar center back in the early mid 2000s when they first came out, and I was in there for something else, and I saw it hanging on the wall, and I just looked at it, and I was just like, man. I picked it up and played it, and I was like, I gotta have this, man. But like at the time, it was out of my budget, you know. Oh, I hear you. That wasn't cheap. It was like one of those things. I didn't know if I'd ever be able to, to be able to get one of those, ever, because they just, like you said, they discontinued them and everything. But sometimes you can come across some good deals on Reverb, man. Oh, for sure. I had actually two of them. I had an all black one that I got off of Reverb, but ended up selling that. But yeah, so no doubt, man. What kind of Dean are you playing now, man? So I got my two main ones for self-got. I got a Dean V Vengeance. It's the one with the Evertune bridge, Fishman pickups, neck through. It's basically kind of modeled after the Dave Mustaine V when he was with Dean. It's kind of like that Jackson King V shape, Yeah. And then the other one is the Gibson Explorer shape, which is called Dean Zero. And it's same exact colors, same exact specs. Fucking phenomenal guitars. Couldn't be happier. Hell yeah, man. How do you like the Evertune, man? How was that? Evertune's great. Like, when I was touring with Necrophagia and we went to tour Europe, we go from all these different climates. We go from Italy, where it's, like, really hot. Then we go to Germany, and it's very cold. It kept in tune regardless. And you know how Guitar Wood just wants to be annoying and change with the weather, and all the intonation just gets fucked. Evertune keeps it together. I couldn't recommend that more, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't have the whammy bar, which sucks, but if you want to like use it in studio just for the rhythms, it's perfect. It's not gonna get out of tune, unlike a Floyd Rose. Yeah, I'm waiting for the day that they come together and they have like a fucking mashup. Somehow, some way, someday, there's got to be a fucking Evertune with the tremolo. Like, so, I don't know how they would do it, but I heard they were working on that, so I think it's in the works as we speak. Hell yeah, man. Well, so tell us about these songs on this record, man. Like, what are some of these songs about, man? Left Hand fucking Pagan. So, it's back to the same sort of lyrical themes as the last record. It's mostly Slavic paganism. As some of you might not know, I'm originally from Ukraine, and that's like my heritage stuff. So, so a lot of the songs just talk about the darker side of paganism, kind of like the satanic side, so to speak. I mean, it doesn't really apply because that's Christianity, but you get what I mean. The darker side, the death gods, the death deities, the practice of black magic, all that metal shit, basically. I mean, I get pretty deep in it. There's some anti-Christian songs, too, where, from a pagan standpoint, when they Christianized Europe with, swords and fire. So it kind of talks about that. But mostly it's about, like, the Slavic pagan practices. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, and we're heading right into the holidays that are all based upon fucking pagan fucking shit, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yule's coming up, so there's actually a song about a deity to do with that with the winter solstice. So it's right in time for the holidays.
Hey, you released this record on Halloween too, which was really cool, man.
Right. Yeah, it basically was up to either me releasing it myself on my own label or wait for a record label to release it next year. I got offered quite a few record deals, but this year was so busy for a lot of record labels, and I just didn't want to wait. I'm like, why should I got this album done in January, right? So I was like, do I want to waste another year, or do I want to just release it and let the world know? And that's what I ended up doing, Screw the record labels, to be honest. They're not doing what I want them to be doing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that, like, as far as the label that you're working with putting this out, but like, as far as like what, I mean, in today's world with the way that everything works, like how much does anybody actually need that, or can you do all this on your own?
So we are at times that we don't really need record labels because, I mean, let's say for instance, a record label decides to release your album on CD and cassette, right? They only give you about 10 to 15% of the copies. So it's like, okay, so if you release like 500 units, what do you really get out of that, Less than 100 copies. And that's all the money you make is those like little bit of copies that you got. And the record label is making the lion's share of it. So I'm like, why should I give money to these motherfuckers that don't really give a shit? And also, they have 100 other bands that they're worried about. Here in my case, it's just me. So I can invest a little bit of money, but I get all the money back. And it's just me on the roster. So I can just focus on Self-God instead of waiting my turn on some label, and the bigger fish get their fucking spot first. And then, the small fish get it later on. So I'd rather be a big fish in a small pond than be a small fish in a big pond, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. No,
and I've been signed to fucking, I don't know how many labels. I've lost count. I don't care. They're all fucking ripping you off anyway. I have so many labels owing me money. But besides the point, I think if, like, in my instance, like, I've been around with a few bands where I sort of established a situation where I don't really need a label. All I gotta do is cut out the middleman, You just find the proper PR, which is you, and the pressing plants, which I know and have worked with before, and I'm open to work with bands that are also looking to find a label and they're sick of label shit, So if there's somebody that wants to work with me, hit me up.
That's good to know because you know what? There's quite a few bands that I've been talking to recently that are pretty fucking pissed off and upset about their current situations that they're in with some specific labels that I'm not going to mention, but they're not fucking they're not doing what they fucking promised to do. Like they're not giving them CDs and fucking merch and stuff. They're like, these bands are heading out on tour trying to promote their record and they don't have nothing to show, nothing to sell. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's crazy, dude. But
that reminds me, like, even on Necrophasia's level, when we toured Europe, we had no records to bring with us for similar reasons. So all we were selling is just T-shirts, Yeah. It's like to buy so many copies of, let's say, CDs costs you some money to a label. So it's like, why should I pay somebody, or I can just pay a pressing plant and just get all the copies to myself,
Exactly.
So record labels are dying out. It's a thing of the past. Unless you're like, I don't know, Lady Gaga or somebody on a major label, and they're like financing tours and management and whatever have you, you know. For small metal bands, it doesn't matter anymore.
I think it's not a lot of people realize like how much still, you know, unless you're like fucking super huge, I guess, you know, like Ghost or something, you know, like where everything is just sort of, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how it all works.
Yeah, I mean, even bands that size. I mean, I've been on a bigger label myself. I'm not gonna name it right now. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but yeah, we had to have our own booking agency, and we're booking our own tours. And that was with Necro, that was with Self God as well. A lot of these labels, all they do is really release your record, but then you're just on your own after that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, one of the cool things about the way that it is nowadays that you can do so much yourself is that you get to, you know, if you do it all yourself, you get to see like what's being paid to where and what and for why and how, you know. Like back in the old days, I think, you know, a band would just sign with a label and the label would sort of take care of all that on their own, but the band didn't really know what was being paid for this and that, and they just, all they knew was they owed this much and they had to go do whatever they had to do to make it up and pay it back. But now you're able to actually see, you know, like if you do it yourself, you're able to see like what you're paying for and who's doing what. And, you know, while for some it may be an extra headache that they don't want to deal with, but for others, you know, it's like, I don't know, man, it's more hands-on, you know.
Yeah, I would say that every band should invest in the business side of things and figure out what costs what, because like I said earlier, like cut out the middleman. You could, like, if all your band members just threw down some money, you can afford to release, let's say, CD and cassette. Vinyl is a little pricey, but then you get to keep 100% of your profits instead of you only getting 10 to 15% if you're lucky. Usually it's 10% from a label. So imagine that. They keep 90% of the profits. For what? Just because they put it out? Because they know the pressing plants and the PR companies? Like in my case, I know both. Like, for instance, like your PR company, like the Necrophagia label, they hired you anyway, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, like, screw the label. I could just hire Zach myself, you know? It's like, why should I waste money on these labels that are never going to pay me, you know? So
well,
I've just been around and I know where to go and what to do.
Well, don't tell them that, though.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this and that and the other. I'm like, okay, let's see it. You know, and after being with 6, 7, whatever labels, I'm like, you guys are all pretty much full of shit. I mean, you hear anybody say that, from Black Sabbath to Frank Zappa, you know, everyone's always been ripped off. It's like a standard story for bands, you know, that do metal or rock, whatever.
Yeah.
Just how it is.
Well, I mean, and I guess there is something though to be said, like to be name associated with something like really huge. You know, like, you know, if it's really big, you know, obviously it's going to carry its own weight and offer some sort of opening of doors. You know, but I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, usually like a lot of bigger labels, are friends with the bigger booking agencies. So if you want to be on tour with, like, I don't know, fucking Dark Funeral or something, you want to talk to this label and this agency, you know, and you kind of get priority, you know, you get to skip the line like a VIP at a club or something.
Yeah.
So that helps. But at the same time, you just have to, like, kiss ass and be favorites of people and whatever. It's all a game of who do you know.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm just on my own. I ain't gonna kiss ass, and if it takes me the harder way to achieve what I want, fuck it. You know, at least it will be genuine. Unlike half of these bands that I see that have achieved nothing, but then, you know, they get all these spots on festivals and tours, whatever. I'm not going to name anybody, but pay to play, yeah, as my girlfriend here said. So lots of pay to play going on. And even when I did Necro, we had bands that paid their way to open up for us. You know, we went through all that. And I kind of felt bad for them, you know. It's like, you guys just need to do your thing. You don't need to play with us, you know. You could just find your way and whatever. But
yeah,
that's just the industry. It's terrible.
A lot of those booking agencies, you can contact them yourself, and you know, if you have something that's I don't know, it you know, impressive enough, man. Like, it's not gonna matter, you know.
Right.
I guess at the end of the day, it all boils down to how good the songs are, and how good the live performance is, and how, you know, is it gonna sell tickets, and
yeah.
You know, that's what they're worried about.
Oh, it's all about the money, of course.
Yeah.
They're not investing in the talent. They're investing in what's popular.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's just life, you know. From a financial standpoint, I guess that makes sense, you know.
So what's coming next for Self God, man? Do you guys do you have any plans to make a video?
Yeah, so we are gonna probably do a video in the next month or so, most likely for the track Left Hand Pagan, the title track.
Hell yeah.
And then we're gonna do a album release show in Pittsburgh, and at some point next year we're gonna set up some dates, so we'll be touring the usual album cycle shit, you know.
Fuck yeah, man. Well,
so we hopefully see some of you folks in Tennessee, you know.
Hell yeah, dude, definitely, man, fucking definitely. As far as this album, man, looking at the album artwork right now, I've got it pulled up on my screen, dude. This is fucking amazing, dude. I love it, dude.
Thank you.
Who did this, and how did this come about?
So the album cover was some guy from that I follow on Instagram. I think this tag was like Hex in Hell or something. I forget. It's okay. My girlfriend's gonna look it up because I just butchered it, but it's in the booklet of the CD. Hex 13, right? No, Hex 13. All right, at Hex 13 on Instagram. So hopefully you folks out there can look this up.
Dear God.
I'm not the best at...
Butchered this.
I butchered it because he didn't have a real name. I mean, what was I going to do, you know?
You've been following him for a while.
A little while.
You knew that you wanted him to do this artwork.
Anyway, it was pretty much a concept that I thought of and sort of loosely drawn. And I was like, hey, can you do this for me? And he did just that. And I'm pretty happy with the turnout.
Yeah, it's cool as hell, man. I mean, yeah, it's fucking, you got this fucking horned fucking figure standing there with a pile of bones. It's fucking awesome, dude.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And the press photo that you guys have for this too, man. Where did you guys take that? That's really cool.
So the funny thing is, that photo is from a cemetery across the street from where I live. So it's like this pyramid tomb, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like some kind of Egyptian fucking mausoleum or some shit.
It's literally an Egyptian mausoleum, yeah. It's the tomb in Allegheny Cemetery in Pittsburgh. It's one of, if not the biggest cemetery in Pittsburgh.
What the fuck? Who is buried there, man?
Do we have any celebrities buried there? I'm not sure, but
no, I mean in that particular mausoleum that you're pictured in front of.
Oh, I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think we've
All I know is they filmed one of the George Romero movies in that cemetery with
nice.
Who was the Argento was the second director, right? Yeah. It was like this anthology from 1990. I forget what it was called, but he literally filmed it there.
Hell yeah.
A rather convenient location.
Literally across the street from the house.
That is really cool, man. All right, well, I guess I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you want to let the people know, man?
So yeah, check out the new album. It's on every platform. We have merch on selfgod.bandcamp.com if anybody wants to order anything, and stay tuned to our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. The record label, Vellus Records, also, we have all the pages. We are open to working with other bands if they need websites, PR, releases, whatever. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. Send me a message. We can talk. But yeah, stay tuned for the new video coming out next month, and stay tuned for the tour dates. We will be touring the U.S. in 2026, so be on the lookout.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking at the merch thing on your Bandcamp right now, dude. You got hats, patches, T-shirts, fucking cassette tapes. You got fucking...
We got booty shorts for girls.
Booty shorts, yes, booty shorts.
Songs are next. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Badass, man. Fucking vinyl.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
Got vinyl. Got it all.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, dude, before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag real quick?
What? I'm sorry.
Make us a station tag real quick.
A station tag?
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Self God, and you are listening to Metal Devastation motherfucking radio."
Alright, this is Serge from Self God, and you're listening to Metal Devastation fucking radio with my man Zach. Get your fucking pull.
Fuck yeah, get your pull. Goddamn right, man. For Dime.
Rest in peace, Dime and Vinny.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, dude. I really appreciate it. And
thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Beyond thankful.
Of course, brother. Of course.
Strength beyond strength, folks.
Fuck yeah. What I'm going to do now is going to blast some more Self-God for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy, all right?
All right, my man.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later, Serge.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Later. There you have it, folks. Serge from Self-God with the Zach Moonshine Show on Metal Devastation motherfucking radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your windows, put them in your front lawns, put them in your neighbor's driveway. Do whatever the fuck you gotta do. If you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, you got serious fucking issues, man. I mean, serious, dude. Like, it's so simple. All you gotta do is reach out and grab the volume knob and crank that bitch all the way to the right, and it will happen. Shit will happen.